Fire Up Connect radio talk show. I'm your host, James Foo Torres, but you can call me Foo. And I'm the CEO and founder of Imperium Authority, which is a public relations firm that specializes on helping business improvement experts increase their brand authority so they can sell high-ticket programs with ease. And with that being said, today I have three board members of the Strategic Advisor Board. So we're going to start with Mike Owens, which is the VP of Production of SAB and the CEO of Mako Consultants. Then we're going to have Mike Jackson, which is the VP of Sales of SAB and the CEO of SF Business Consultants. And then the third segment is going to be Joel Phillips, which is the VP of Technology of SAB and the CEO of ProShark. So without further ado, first we have Mike Owens. So Mike Owens, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Foo?
Yeah, I'm doing super fantastic, like I'd like to say.
Right.
So,
Hey,
you can
go
say
ahead.
something? Oh no, sorry. Just so you know, so the audience can get to know you, like who they're talking to or who they're listening to, right? Just give me a quick introduction about yourself and what do you do in SAP and in your own business, so we get to know you. And then you're like, just the floor is yours.
Well, sure. Well, first of all, Foo, I just want to say thanks for having me on this platform. It's a great honor being on here, and I've heard a lot of great things about you and your business. So yeah, I'm just pleased to be here. So for a quick intro, I'm just going to keep it real simple. You know, again, as you mentioned, I'm a VP of production for SAB and also the founder and CEO of Mako Consulting. And I think, my past experiences in business really has led me to this point in my career where it has been very much rewarding and instrumental in supporting and helping businesses reach their potential. So it's, in Mako Consulting, I do the same thing as we do in SAB. We just go out there and we try to find the gaps in small to medium-sized businesses and try to, where we can help them reach their potential and make them better. So that's about it. So.
Great. Short and sweet, to the point. Thank you for sharing that. So we got a little bit of background, right? Like the audience can understand where these tips now that I'm going to ask for are coming from. So my next question is, do you have, given your expertise, do you have actionable tips that you can give to business owners that might be listening to this that they can apply right now?
Yes, I think actionable tips. There's a litany of items that we can talk about under this topic. I think first, if you look at leaders or business owners, and for me, the one thing that's important is the foundation of who you are, and that's first being accessible. And if you're accessible for both in terms of your employees and your customers, let's talk about the customers first. I think that you need to be able to be available and listen to their feedback in order to give them support. You have to be accessible when they're ready to get an answer, and make sure that you're current, you're prompt, you're quick, you're available to meet their needs when they want an answer right away. So whether that be through a focus group, a town hall meeting, a Zoom call, coming through the front door of a brick and mortar, sitting down, talking to them, being accessible builds trust for long term, builds that longevity for the consumer base. In terms of an employee, I think that it's all about the open door policy, being transparent. Transparent builds that trust and builds that retention that you're looking for. That is an extension of your brand. That goes in by building that foundation of that transparency and being accessible to your customer. that strengthens your brand for that consumer to be more to build that longevity for them. So I think that's very, very important in order to do that, which kind of segues into, customer feedback. When you build that accessibility as an owner or a leader, that builds that trust in order to get honest feedback from not only your employee but from your consumer as well. And what are the benefits for that? I think when I look at feedback from a consumer standpoint, it uh, when you're getting that feedback, you're building effective business decisions. Trust again. There's that word. Better customer experiences, and you want to make sure that that feedback is honest, because when you're opening up that transparency and having that accessibility to both the employees and the consumers, that feedback has to be strong and honest all the way through. And the only way you're going to be able to scale is to make sure that that you have platforms like focus groups and uh, town hall meetings to make that happen. People don't like to see leaders, behind an email or behind a computer and answering whether, because you're not building that bond or that strength to build that longevity. And then I think that leads into, measure. You have to measure everything. You want to make sure you're measuring. And if you say it 3 times, I mean, that's strength, measuring, measuring, measuring. So, but um,
Yeah.
I think that's important. Uh, if you're measuring, time allocation for productivity for your employees, or reading a P&L on a weekly basis to make sure that you're on top of all the details or the marketing behaviors that you have. I think this all kind of correlates together uh, in order to scale. So I think the tips are, first, be accessible, get honest feedback, and measure those results. And I think in a way that's building culture, right? You're building culture not only for your business through your employees, but you're building culture that your customer base can wrap their arms around. And I think culture is not built on paper; it's built on by engaging. And and so those tips, I think they're important. Yes, we can talk about all types of tips in business, but that foundation of being honest and being accessible creates the strength of your feedback that you're getting both from your employees and both from your customers in order to enhance that brand while you're measuring those results.
Definitely, definitely. Just to kind of unpack the things that I got from there is that accessibility is super important, and I completely agree with that. And that's one reason that I usually, with most people, I am on like instant messaging basis, because I'm not a huge fan of email. I think email is cool, it's good, it's necessary, but it's not really accessibility, right? Like when you want to be accessible, you want to be able to like message directly and be kind of informal in a way, right? And be able, so that's why like I like Slack. And one thing that SAP does very great is like having that community and being accessible, that everybody's just in that platform, and you can just just one message away. So I completely agree with the accessibility being something big. And then like another major point that you emphasized was feedback. And I completely agree with that, because you have to listen to both your customers and like your employees and everybody, inside and outside of the business, to be able to understand like how to get better, or how to like eliminate some stuff or add some stuff. And then with that feedback, like you said, like in accessibility and everything, that's how you create culture, right? Like, because culture is all about like, how do you go to about communicating, how do you go about reacting to situations, and how do you go to taking the feedback and applying it to make it better, improvements and all that. So completely agree with with that, those 3 points of like, being accessible, listen to your feedback, and like combine everything to like create a good culture. So yeah, definitely. That was some great points. So my last question is, so in regards to public awareness, what has been the most effective strategies that you have been using in the last 3 to 6 months in your business, or in both businesses, let's say SAB and your other business?
Well, other than appearing professional, I'm joking. I think, public awareness can have many conduits, many arms, many paths to as a result for the meaningful outcome of your company, and not to take away from um, anything away from other means like awareness from like social media or email campaigns or print. Uh, I think you need to root your businesses or your business's DNA deep, right? By engaging with warm bodies has a meaningful connection in order to real yield results. And for me, but not using, but not demeaning the social platforms or any of those type of other awarenesses or medias. For me, what I've done and what it means to bring public awareness to the forefront is to be involved in the community. Whether it be a charity or a fundraiser, that's big, on my platform, because what it does, it helps me uh, extend my networking. And again, we talk about what we talked on the first question. It's all about,
Mhm.
and you continue to water your information on these alliances. One day, you're going to give, um, uh, get a result that you're looking for. So it's important that uh, that you know, being in front of somebody and using this means of community, be involved in the community, and expanding your network is really helped me expand my business, uh, connecting with other business owners for SAB, uh, making bringing that SAB brand out into the business world where they never would have recognize it in any other way. Yes, I think that's old school, and it's a little bit a sloth type of mentality, but it works. But I think you can marry the two types of public awareness with social media and get fast results as well. I think it's more of a long term perspective, and in terms of being rooted deep, whereas getting the fast results is more shotgun. I think in my book. So uh, yeah, that's helped me personally uh, be a little bit more effective. That's just maybe because I'm not a tech guy. I know just enough to be dangerous, and I use the piggyback off the strengths of other people in order to make that happen. But I'm old school, so
Which is smart.
um, it's helped me.
It's
So
smart. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for kind of like, saying what are you doing for your public awareness. And it seems like you like when you say warm bodies, you want to be like in person and everything, and then leverage, the social media too, especially when with other people's expertise, to get yourself out there and sub and your business. So
yep.
thank you for sharing all that. That was great.
Thank you, Philip. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. So yeah, I'll see you around in Sab. And like now, so we're going to commercials. And next we're gonna have Mike Jackson, which is the VP of Sales of Sab and the CEO of SF Business Consultants. So we'll be right back.